The Frog King, or Iron Henry, translated by J.D. Pope, performed by J.D. Pope. There once was a princess who went out into the forest and sat on the edge of a cool well. She had a golden ball that was her favorite toy. She would throw the ball up into the air and would catch it again, and had great fun doing it. One time she threw the ball too high and stretched out her hand ready to catch it, but the ball hit the ground and rolled and fell into the water. The princess watched the ball in shock. The well was so deep that she couldn't see the bottom. The princess began to cry and shouted, "Oh, if only I had my ball again! I would give anything to have it back. My clothes, my precious stones, my pearls, and whatever I have in this world." As she so cried, a frog stuck its head out of the water and said, "Princess, why do you whine so pathetically?" "Oh," said she, "you nasty frog, how could you possibly help me? My golden ball has fallen into the well." The frog said, "Your pearls, your precious stones, and your clothes I don't desire. But if you accept me as a companion, that I should sit next to you and eat from your little golden plate, and sleep with you in your little bed, and you value me and hold me dear, I will retrieve your golden ball." The princess thought to herself, "How this simple frog chatters! He must of course stay in the water, but perhaps he can retrieve my ball, so I will say yes." And then said, "Yes, for my sake, get me the golden ball first, and all that you ask will be promised to you." The frog stuck his head under the water and dove down, and it did not take long until he came up again with the golden ball in his mouth, and he tossed it onto the land. As the princess saw the ball, she quickly ran over to it and picked it up. So glad was she to have the ball in her hands again, that she thought of nothing else and hurried home. The frog called after her, "Wait, princess, and take me with you as you promised." But the princess heard him not. The next day, while sitting at the table, she heard something coming up the marble steps. Splish, splash, splish, splash. Soon thereafter, there was a knock at the door and a call. "Princess youngest, open up to me." The princess walked to the door and opened it. There was the frog whom she had forgotten about. Quite shocked, the princess threw the door hastily shut and sat again at the table. The king, however, saw that her heart beat very quickly and said, "Why are you afraid?" "Out there is a nasty frog," she said. "He retrieved for me my golden ball out of the water, and I promised him that he should become my companion. I did not believe that he could leave his water, and now he is outside the door and wants to come in." There came a second knock and a call. "Princess youngest, open up to me. Do you not know what yesterday you said to me at the cool water well? Princess youngest, open up to me." The king said, "What you've promised you must keep. Go and open the door to the frog." She obeyed, and the frog hopped in and followed her until they reached her chair. And as she sat again, he called to her, "Lift me up on the chair next to you." The princess did not want to, but the king commanded her to. When the frog was up, he said, "Now push your little golden plate nearer. I want to eat with you therefrom." This the princess also had to do. When the frog had eaten his fill, he said, "Now I am tired and want to sleep. Take me up to your little bedroom and prepare your bed. There we should lay ourselves." The princess was terrified when she heard this. She dreaded the cold frog and did not wish to touch him, and now she should allow him to lay next to her in her bed. She began to cry and did not want to. At this, the king became angry and commanded her to do what she had promised, lest he should be disgraced. Nothing could help. She had to do as her father wished, but was bitterly angry in her heart. She grabbed the frog with 2 fingers and carried him up to her room, laid herself on the bed, and instead of laying the frog next to her, she threw him splat against the wall. "Now you will leave me in peace, you nasty frog." But the frog did not fall dead to the floor, but as he went down to the bed, there was a handsome young prince. He was now her dear companion, and she valued him as they pleasurably fell asleep together. In the morning there arrived a magnificent carriage with 8 harnessed horses, with clean feathers and shimmering gold. It was Henry the True, servant of the prince, who had become so saddened over the prince's transformation that he had to bind 3 iron bands around his heart, so that it did not shatter from sadness. The prince sat in the carriage along with the princess. The faithful servant stood on the carriage at the back as they rode into his kingdom. After they had traveled a ways, the prince heard a loud cracking, at which he turned and called, "Henry, the wagon is breaking." "No, sir, the wagon is not. It is a band from my heart, that had lain in great pain, while you sat in the well, while you were a frog." Again and again the prince heard a cracking, and believed the wagon was breaking, but it was only the bands that sprang off the heart of Henry the True, because his master was free and happy.